Nothing can ruin your day like missing an appointment. ELO contains a bunch of ways to make sure this doesn't happen throughout the life cycle of a document. You can see here that this task is assigned to the user Benny Lida. No one needs to call him up or send him an email. The task and the task instructions appear automatically in that user's tasks area. This is a different task that Mr. Lida also sees. In this case, it is assigned to a working group called Training Department. Since Mr. Lida is a member of that department, he also sees tasks assigned to that group. Now let's go a step further. What if a user doesn't receive a task every day and is not used to checking up on their active tasks? You can define a special kind of node in a workflow called a feed entry. Feed entries are just short messages that you can either use to target specific users or groups called mentions, or users can subscribe to different topics called hashtags. Here you can see an example of each. When a task shows up for a user in this way, the user immediately sees that task and can go to work on it as soon as they log on to ELO. This could be in the office in the full client, at home in the web client, or on the road on the user's mobile device. You don't even have to use ELO to take advantage of these notifications. By using ELO Notify, a free add-on to ELO, you can have the system automatically send an overview of pending tasks and new feed topics on a daily or weekly basis. These notifications are simply presented under normal operating conditions and help with task visibility in general. But in our experience, the true test of organizational competence is when things go wrong. What if a user takes too long to process a task and it's holding up other parts of the process? What if you're approving an invoice for payment, for example, and it's in danger of becoming overdue? This is a completely normal situation for businesses, even with highly trained and motivated staff. An approver, for example, might go on a business trip and not have time to get in front of a computer for a few days. This is where automated escalations come into play. These can be defined in the workflow and all parts within it. Here, I can define deadlines for the workflow overall. Once this deadline occurs, after 5 workdays to a couple weeks, for example, the designated escalation recipient will get a notification. By default, the person who starts the workflow is notified, but I'll change it to the user's supervisor. As you can see on your screen, once the first deadline occurs, I can set up to 2 additional deadlines to notify additional people if necessary. These could be a division head or a company ombudsman, for example. Here you can see that you have the same options for each assignment or node in the workflow as for the workflow overall. You can assign the overall workflow a deadline of a month, with individual steps having a deadline of a week or a few days. This helps keep things moving toward the overall goal. The only thing to keep in mind here is that these steps are optional. You don't have to set up escalations for every part of every workflow, but for especially critical parts of workflows that might take longer, you have plenty of options. Here you can see a red line connecting one part of the workflow to another. This is an escalation line. This means that a workflow will automatically progress to a different stage when a deadline is reached. This allows you to attach further automation to the process, such as dispatching data to another system, as well as to increase process transparency while allowing any number of escalations you need. Here I have set up a tasks filter that only shows workflows that have already escalated. You can see here that overdue tasks automatically show up highlighted in red so that you'll see the most urgent tasks right away. Overdue tasks are also automatically shown at the top of the My ELO area. Of course, you can combine any number of these functions. Here, I have configured a workflow to automatically send an email immediately to a user when the escalation deadline kicks in. With tasks, emails, and automated escalations, your users will always have a great overview of their to-do items. That's how easy it is to use escalations in ELO.